Right, my friends, we are live. How are we? And as somebody suggested in the chat, let's get crack-a-lacking. There is a lot to get through tonight. We are, of course, going to be speaking about the claims made about Trent Alexander-Arnold and his contract. We're going to be speaking about more cost-cutting measures at Manchester United that see Sir Alex Ferguson, well, kind of pushed to the side because they don't want to be paying him anymore. We're also going to be talking about Curtis Jones and his beautiful new baby that's come into the world. So congratulations to Curtis and his partner, and lots more over the course of the next 90 minutes. As always, though, you guys let me know where you want to go with the conversation, and I'll do my best to fulfill your needs if I can, you know. If you're a lady, expect disappointment. That's the way for me. You're always going to be disappointed. If you're a fella, well, no, you never know. Maybe I can fulfill your... I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm digging this fucking hole here, haven't I? I don't know where I'm going with it. But welcome. And hello to you all anyway. Nice to see you in. Tuchel, going to be the next England manager, which is a little bit mad, which means I guess he's not going to be the England manager. So yeah, look, we've a load to get through. We're going to be giving you the officials for the game at the weekend as well against Chelsea. They've been announced. We're going to be speaking about Liverpool walking away from a company they were working with under Jurgen Klopp's tenure. And we're going to be giving you some new fixtures as well, or some new dates for fixtures that have been rearranged for television. So yeah, that and much more over the the next 90 minutes. Now look, I've got to start with the whole Man United thing tonight, if you don't mind. Because yet again, I'm astounded by the cheapness of Jim Ratcliffe. They have basically, if you don't know, they put out the headline that Alex Ferguson steps down from his role as an ambassador for Manchester United, a multi-million-pound a year salary. Jim Ratcliffe was basically continued to cut costs at Manchester United, and Sir Alex Ferguson is now, well, on the tail end of his cost-cutting measures. He's going to stay on the club as some type of honorary chairman or something, but basically the money he was getting from Manchester United is going to dry up because Jim Ratcliffe just keeps cutting those costs at United. So we're kind of split on this as football people. I've spoken to a couple of people who feel it's a good idea, a couple of people who feel it's a bad idea. I'm very much of the viewpoint of it's a bad idea. And here's why. You gave him the role. For all the success Alex Ferguson brought to United, United gave him the role. And he's brought a lot to that football club. And I just think it's quite low, to be honest with you, for Jim Ratcliffe to come in and just take away Sir Alex Ferguson's agreed package. So, you know, I'll let United fans say what they want about it, but I'd be worried if I was a United fan because the amount of cost-cutting measures Ratcliffe is going through to try and do what exactly? I don't know. I mean, save money is the obvious answer, but money's never been an issue for United. It's wasting the money that's been an issue for United. And I don't think with all the work Sir Alex Ferguson did on the years that he was there and getting the club back to where it was, that you could consider that money wasted. So maybe they don't want his influence looming over the future of the club. I don't know, but it just feels weird to me. United catching the FSG flu, said Coach Bill. On FSG, actually, I mean, a lot to go through with these guys as well. John Aldridge was actually speaking about FSG earlier on, and I was reading parts of it from the Echo, where he has his monthly column, of course. And this is a little bit of what John Aldridge had to say. Now, there was some compliments from John Aldridge about the owners as well, obviously speaking about the main stand and lots of other good stuff that they've done. But it seems as if even former players now are starting to look at FSG's lack of spending compared to other clubs in the market as a potential problem. Let me read through what Mr. Aldridge has had to say. They're steady businessmen, and in many respects they treat the club as just that, a business. It has meant we haven't been able to spend money like Manchester City and a number of other clubs, which at times has caused a bit of an issue with supporters regarding missing out on transfers, but that hasn't stopped us being major competitors over the last decade. Now, I think that's pretty fair from John. It hasn't stopped us being competitors, but maybe it has stopped us being able to get to the finish line on a few occasions. He went on to say the transformation of Anfield will perhaps be the greatest legacy once they decide to sell. What they've done to the stadium is absolutely magnificent, and again, I've no qualms about that whatsoever. It gives them the fair dues on that one. Bring it up to modern standards and beyond. It's a proper venue for more than just football. But, like many owners, they could have done and can still do better. Their failings, especially the European Super League idea, have rightly been criticised. And the obvious ongoing error is having allowed Trent Alexander-Arnold, Virgil van Dijk and Mohamed Salah to enter the last year of their current contracts. I'm so glad to see that somebody like John Aldridge, with the platform he has and the respect that he has, is started to call out some of these things that, look, could be done better. I'm not sitting here to tell everyone that FSG are the worst owners in the world. They haven't been. But my stance has always been they're cheap. They're cheap in the market and they haven't done enough. And I think John Aldridge is starting to see that a little bit, and others are starting to see it. And like I've always said, when we want to have legitimacy in these conversations, you do have to credit the good stuff, but you also have to be willing and able to call out the bad stuff. And they're cheap. And nothing's ever going to change my mind on that. So what happens down the line? Well, that remains to be seen. Let's say Manchester City get off the charges. Well then, what happens with football? I don't know. But I know that their owners are cheap. And did I mention that they're cheap? John, come here to me, John. You're cheap, John. You are cheap. Let's be honest, John. You're cheap. Did I mention he was cheap? He might be cheap, you know. But it's not all bad news, ladies and gentlemen. There is good news today. Trey Nyoni has signed his first professional contract at Liverpool Football Club. And I think we could all agree. Congratulations, Trey. Looking forward to seeing what this young man can do. He is an undoubted talent. And, yeah, great news. No notes on this one, John. Well done. Trey Nyoni getting his first professional contract. That's good news to all of us. And I think you're all probably as excited as me about watching Trey Nyoni develop. He is an undoubted top-notch young footballer. And we did obviously bring him in from Leicester City. And now the club have rewarded him for his progress with his first professional contract. So congratulations, Trey. And well done to the club and getting him tied up. TOTT2KZ1, first super chat of the night. How are we, sir? Said, welcome back, Craig. Hope you had a great holiday. And it wasn't really a holiday. It was kind of a working trip. But either way, thank you, bro. Always appreciate it. I know it's good getting contracts sorted for other players, but surely the main three should come first. Yes, of course, mate. Look, I'm not going to be unhappy about a new contract for Trey Nyoni and a new contract for a new contract for Jarell Quansah. That's good news, and we should celebrate it as such. It is good news. But you are right, we can't just ignore the elephant in the room. And we haven't, to be fair. We've spoken about it quite a bit. I'm going to move on to speak about Trent in a moment because a big claim was made today and I wanted to get your take on it. But before I do, I just want to bring up Benjamin's super chat. Hey Craig, I'm glad you're back. Did you give your opinion on Fergie? Also, is Graham Bailey a reliable source for Trent's news? So, I'm going to answer the first part of your question first. Yes, I did speak about Sir Alex Ferguson, and I quite frankly think it's low, to be honest with you, mate. I think Sir Alex Ferguson and what he did for that club, I think he deserves whatever he agreed when he was given the role, and I think he should be paid up as such. But it isn't Sir Alex Ferguson's club, and I guess Radcliffe has obviously felt the need to trim the excess fat, for want of a better phrase, and continue his cost-cutting measures. So I don't know where else to go with that one. With regards to Graham Bailey, look, I don't know Graham Bailey, first and foremost. I don't know him as a person. I've never interacted with Graham. But I'm always a little bit dubious of these types of claims. And if you don't know what the claim is, I'm about to read it out to you and we can go through this together. And then I'm going to ask you, do you believe it or not, in the chat. I'm going to put a poll up to ask you, do you believe this or not? So, here's the claim and then we'll work backwards from there. So the claim came from TBR Football, who do follow us on social media, so well done on that. They've obviously got some good taste. TBR Football have claimed that 26-year-old defender is going to stay at Anfield after starting talks for a new contract. As per the report, the Liverpool star will put pen to paper on a new deal before Christmas. Goes on to say timing is key for the Reds, as the Liverpool defender will be able to indulge in talks with other clubs in January, and his contract situation would allow him to negotiate a pre-contract agreement. None of that is the good news yet. Now we're getting on to the part you want to pay attention to. This part said Liverpool have offered him a huge contract at the club, and his new wages would make him the highest paid English player in the Premier League and put him on par with Mohamed Salah at the club. Now, that would mean Trent's going to be on £350,000 a week upwards. I don't know what to say there. I don't know what to say, whether I believe it or not. I want to believe it because it's the news that we all want. I'm not trying to say Graham Bailey is or isn't a reliable person. I don't know. But I'm going to wait until I get confirmation from a David Lynch or an Ornstein or a Joyce. But look, as I've always said in these situations, it's better to read positive stuff like this than negative stuff, but until we know for certain, it's up to everybody what they want to believe. I'm not convinced as of yet, I've got to be honest with you. I hope he's right. I very much want Graham to be right. And I think I owe an apology. I think I said Graham Kelly on a video earlier on. I got my Grahams confused. So on that one, I apologise. But yes, it was Graham Bailey who wrote this piece for TBR Football. And again, I'll let you guys decide whether you think there's truth to it or not. I'm going to put up a poll now to ask you just that. Now, there could on an occasion tonight be some lagging. And I apologise. I am having some issues with the broadband. And it's very intermittent at the minute. So I apologise on that. But I'm going to start off the first poll of the night and ask you guys, do you believe the news? So let's ask that question. 1 second. Right, so question is, do you believe the Trent New Deal claims? And it's simple yes or no. So I'm not going to say whether I feeling about it. So poll is up there, vote away in it and let me know what you think. Right, I've got some more super chats to get up on screen. Danny, always lovely to see you, Danny, and thank you for your continued support of the channel. Hey Craig, mate, glad to have you back. Thank you, my friend. It's great to be back, and it was lovely being back last night as well, getting the first stream out of the way. It's always a bit of a nervy one when you come back from a time away, but appreciate that, Danny, and thank you very much. Anime Proof said, hey Craig, do you think we've missed out on a treat with Zubimendi? He was great last match for Spain and is great for Sociedad right now. Well, I don't know what more we could have done. Obviously it was disappointing that he decided to stay at Sociedad, but all I can say to you is, and I say this with some confidence, if he changes his mind and if he decides that Sociedad aren't going in the direction that he believes, or that he's not being rewarded for his performances or anything like that, if he showed any willingness to change his mind, I fully believe, and David Lynch does, and I think some of the boys at the Echo and a few others believe, that Liverpool would be quite happy to go back in there with a new offer for him. But I've got to be honest and say there's not been any indication that I've seen of that change of heart from him yet. But the club, from my conversations with David Lynch, of course, he used to work for the Liverpool media team, David said that as far as he's aware, it was a very cordial, polite refusal, and the channel of communication is still open, and if there was any willingness from Zubimendi to make the move, he believes that Liverpool would look to get it done. So that's all I can say to you. But an image rights deal, I mean, let me get that back up, Tom. I don't know why that's not coming up on screen for me, bro. 1 second. Why isn't this coming up for me? Bear with me 1 second. Why is this not coming up for me? I'm going to try and turn this on and off again. 1 sec. Refresh, that should work. I'm back on a Wi-Fi that's definitely working, so if you refresh it should be back. Should be back now. Sorry folks, bear with me a second. Should be back now. I don't know what. Yeah, there we go. Now I'm getting Tom's stuff back up. There you go. Apologies on that. I was just trying to get the most reliable one of my two broadbands up for you. So Tom, there's your super chat anyway, bro. Said Ferguson should do United for an image rights deal. I find it disgusting, mate, that that they've done that they've taken away that deal from Sir Alex Ferguson. Personally, Elks said, what's up, Craig? Missed you last week. Survived hurricane number 2 in Florida, and we've possibly a third coming from the Atlantic coast. Trent, hope Trent news is right. So look, first and foremost, I'm so glad to hear that you're okay and safe, as is our friend Liz. Now I know a lot of people are still without power and stuff in Florida, but your safety is of course the most important thing. Everything else, as you know, can be rebuilt and fixed, but I'm glad you're safe, mate, and I hope that you don't have another one coming your way. I know it is hurricane season, September, October time, around that part of the world, so yeah, I hope you're all safe. That's all I can say. So yeah, again, apologies for the dodgy internet at the start. I don't know what's going on today. Maybe it is the storm or whatever, but internet all over the place seems to be in and out. Connor's at home as well isn't great, but we do have a lot to go through tonight. So if you've any questions or there's anything you missed that you want me to go back over, please just let me know in the chat, and I'll happily go back over it for you. Whitehammer, how are you, bro? Lovely to see you win again, bro. Always lovely to see you. Said, can't trust that Wexford internet. Carlos is better. Dude, you know what I mean? I'll take any internet. I don't mind if it's Carlo, if it's here in Wexford. It's all coming through Sky for me anyway. So unfortunately, I'm supposed to have 500 gigabyte speeds, and sometimes it's up there, sometimes it isn't. But look, I'll take the small mercy of it being working right now anyway. And always lovely to see you, bro. And look, Carlo's a lovely place. Spent many days, many nights in Carlo, bro. So all good. So yeah, anything you want me to go back over because the internet was messing up, please feel free to throw it in. The poll is up there to vote on as well. Just simply asking, do you believe the new Trent deal claims? And if you don't know what these claims are, the claims are that Trent has agreed a £350,000 per week deal with Liverpool. Now, I'm speaking with David Lynch on Thursday, so we will be talking about this then, no doubt. But basically, I'll read it out one more time for people that haven't had a chance yet to catch up with us. So this comes from TBR Football and Graham Bailey, who say Liverpool have offered Trent a huge contract at the club, and his new wages would make him the highest paid English player in the Premier League, which is, a significant amount of money, and would put him on par with Mohamed Salah as Liverpool's highest earner. And the question that we asked you guys was, do you believe this or not? I hope it happens. Of course I hope it happens, but I don't want to get too excited about it until we have a Paul Joyce or a David Ornstein or a David Lynch or somebody come out and give us the nod to say yes. Stevie Boy, how are you, bro? Said, does Trent have an obligation to sign for Liverpool because he's a local? I think he meant to say lad there. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt on saying lad there. I don't feel like I have the right to answer that for him. Obviously, I would say it makes the decision to leave the club a far more daunting one because you're a local person. Same we've seen with Zubimendi at Sociedad. Same we've seen with many of the Manchester lads coming up at Manchester United or elsewhere. It's definitely a more difficult situation if you're born and bred Scouser, you're playing for your hometown club, you're vice captain, you want to captain it someday. Yeah, I would say it's a difficult one, but does he have an obligation? Honestly, no. And I'm going to tell you why. If you're somebody like Trent and you've had success at Liverpool and you've tasted it and you've won a league title and you've won a couple of League Cups, FA Cup, Club World Cup, Super Cup, the whole shebang, you're going to want more of it, and you're not going to want the club's ambitions not to meet yours. So the way I'm looking at this is I'm hoping that Trent wants those assurances that the club want to succeed as much as he does and that they show that with action. And part of that action will, of course, be extending him, Mohamed, Virgil, but bringing in top-notch signings as well. So I think he can't be anything but impressed with what we've seen so far from Arne Slot's era at the club. Arne's come in, 9 wins from 10. Things are looking pretty good at the minute, but we do have more difficult tests to come. But I don't think he's any obligation to. I do believe it's obviously a more difficult decision, the thoughts of leaving, but these guys have short careers and they're in this for legacy. They're in this for trophies. They're in this to be able to speak to the kids and grandkids when they hang up their boots and say, look at what I achieved, look at what I've done, and to have no regrets. So I think we all understand the pull of Real Madrid. It's a huge club. It's probably the biggest club in the world, and certainly a club that are dominant at the minute in Europe. Won lots of European Cups, the most in any club's history. But they do have some other things going against them as well. As an example, the Super League is set to start next September, according to reports. Now, Real Madrid, Barcelona, and a couple of other clubs, of course, been pushing that Super League. So what happens there? Are UEFA going to back down on the Super League? Is it going to go to court again? Are we going to see players blocked from playing international competitions? There's so much up in the air stuff that I don't know how anybody could confidently decide to go to a Real Madrid. And also, while we're speaking about it, I don't know how anybody could confidently go to Manchester City. So today we've seen stories that maybe City are looking at Ruben Amorim as a replacement if Pep Guardiola doesn't sign the new deal. Obviously, the sporting director from Sporting Lisbon is coming in to take Cheeky Begirisstein's job after he leaves, and that could be an indication that Amorim's going to follow suit. But how on earth can you agree to take a job at Manchester City at the minute when Manchester City could be in Football League North next season for all we know? It's there's a lot of stuff that makes me question who's advising these people, because in any other walk of life, none of us would go and join a company that are under investigation for potentially fraud, basically. So yeah, I find the whole thing a little bit weird in football. Michael Manning, thank you, mate, with us for 14 months as a member, and said lovely to have you back. Thank you so much, bro. It's great to be back. I don't do time off very well. I miss everybody while I'm away, so it's great to be back. Storms, I'm good, thank you, bro. I'm good. Foxy, nice to see you in as well, mate. Steve Aldis, he said, Trent deserves it if he gives the prime of his career to Liverpool. He's world class for sure. Look, I've no problem. If the club gives Trent 350 grand a week, I've no problem with that, mate. Especially if this means he's committing pretty much the best years of his career to the club. Because Trent's just turned 26. He's coming into his prime right now, which is scary when you think what he's already achieved. So I've no problem, mate, if they give him 350 grand a week, if it ties him down to the club. And also, this is kind of future-proof in the club. If he signs a 5 or 6 year deal on those terms, well, the club know that nothing can come in and destabilise him at that point without their say-so, because they have him tied down. So I hope it's true, I really do, and I've no problem with the numbers if it is true. Maybe other people think differently about the numbers involved. I understand it, it's an individual thing, but for me, I think we have to pay a stupid bastard tax at this point. And I don't know how to put it any better than that. But the club made this bed, and now they've got to lie in it and find a solution. And that solution's probably cost them an extra 50 grand a week. So, you know, if that's what it takes for the club to get it done, then the club have got to get it done. Mike, how are we? Said, big shout out to the mods. Absolutely. The channel just wouldn't be where it is and what it is without Mark and the rest of the moderators who were here night after night, day after day, helping us out, keeping things friendly and less toxic in the chat. Yeah, I absolutely echo that sentiment, mate. And thank you for your 10 months membership with us as well, Mike. Right, I have a lot to get through. Jack, let me get your super chat up, bro. And again, thank you. By the way, I heard somebody, I'm not going to say any names here, I'll let you figure out who this is for yourself, but I heard somebody was asked, could you read out my super chat? And the reply they got was, no mate, it's match day, it's really busy. So, here's my problem with that. One, somebody's just sent you money. You know, you've got to give it your best chance to read that super chat out. Someone sent their hard-earned wages to you, their hard-earned money. The least you could do is read the super chat out. But also, here's the part that really got me about it. You've taken the time to say no to the person. So why not just read the fucking comment? So no, I find this stuff weird. The entitlement of some people is baffling. Whether you send somebody £2 or 500 quid, I think you should make the time to acknowledge that super chat. We all miss them occasionally. But to say no to somebody, you're not reading it out because you're busy? That's weird behaviour for me. Craig, glad to see you back. Hope you and the family are good. Booking the show and looking forward. Do you know where the best parking is at the event? Mate, you can park outside. My car, for this one I'm not driving actually, but yeah, right outside. I parked outside the door the last time, so you won't have any problem finding parking. There's loads of parking in and around the Hot Water Comedy Club. So yeah, you should be good on that. And thank you for coming along as well, Jack. It's I'm getting excited. It's only a month away now. A month to the day that we're in Liverpool for our next live show. So you know the drill. If you want to come and see us, it's an all ages event. You can get your tickets with a link at the top of the chat or in the description of the video. Right. Anyway, I'm going to fly through some of my news here because I have a lot to get through. Let's start off with some fixture changes. I know a lot of you guys will be going to games, booking travel and stuff, so we always like to try and keep you up to date with the very latest TV schedules. A couple of games have been changed, so here's Liverpool's run of games for December and January. The game against Manchester City is now a 4 o'clock kickoff on Sunday the 1st of December at Anfield. 4 p.m. kickoff Sunday 1st of December. The game against Newcastle at St James's Park is now Wednesday the 4th of December. It's a 7:30 kickoff. The derby at Goodison is Saturday the 7th of December. And of course our friends at TNT Sport have given us the, you've guessed it, 12:30 game for that one for the derby. Liverpool's game against Girona in the Champions League, Tuesday the 10th of December. Liverpool's game against Fulham is Saturday 14th of December, 3 p.m. kickoff at Anfield. A game against Spurs away to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is the 22nd of December, 4:30 kickoff. The game against Leicester City at Anfield is Thursday 26th of December, so Boxing Day or St Stephen's Day here in Ireland. And the good news for that is you get to have your dinner, you get to have a few drinks, and then Liverpool-Leicester is on at 8 p.m. on Boxing Day, which is class. I'm looking forward to that one. 29th of December, Liverpool travel to the London Stadium to take on West Ham. That is going to be a 5:15 kickoff for that one. In January then, Liverpool take on Manchester United at Anfield Sunday the 5th of January, and it's a 4:30 kickoff. Nottingham Forest 14th of January at the City Grounds, an 8 p.m. kickoff. Brentford at the G-Tech Stadium Saturday 18th of January, 3 o'clock kickoff. Lille in the Champions League at Anfield Tuesday 21st of January, an 8 p.m. kickoff. And the last two, Ipswich 25th of January, 3 p.m. kickoff at Anfield. PSV Eindhoven over in Eindhoven Wednesday 29th of January with an 8 p.m. kickoff. Right, a little bit of news from the coaching and backroom staff. Arne Slot has added a new addition in. So this breaking news from 1908 Netherlands said Roderick van der Hem will come from Feyenoord as the video analyst and is making the switch to Liverpool. The English club, where Arne Slot is at the helm, has managed to lure him. So we've got a new video analyst coming in from Feyenoord, somebody that Arne Slot previously worked with, Roderick van der Ham, who's coming in from Feyenoord as a video analyst. So another addition to the backroom staff there for Arne. Tom, let me just get your super chat up before I forget. Legacy is lifting Potts as captain, not stats. Yeah, mate, I agree. Absolutely. And that's what I want. That's why I call the owners out as much as I do on transfers, Tom, because like you, bro, I don't want that league title to be on its own, one title in 30 years. I want Liverpool to build on that success and have many league titles. So like you, bro, I agree, it's all very well and good having stats and having all these things, but yeah, the club needs to match Trent's ambition, needs to match Virgil's ambition, and of course needs to match Mohamed Salah's ambition. Craig, Boxing Day 8 p.m. I'll be wasted. I'm always very jealous of you guys in the UK on Christmas Day, because you guys can go to the boozer on Christmas Day, get yourself Christmas Day dinner in the pub if you so wish, and go home. You don't have all that hassle of having to cook. No pubs open in Ireland on Christmas Day. Yes, and again, congratulations to Curtis Jones and his missus. You might have noticed that Curtis stepped away from the England camp because of what was called personal circumstances. Well, we can confirm now that Curtis Jones and his girlfriend, Safi Khan, have had the birth of their first baby. Congratulations. Lovely picture of Curtis Jones holding his newborn baby as well. So congratulations to both of them on the birth of their first child. Always a massive moment in anybody's life. What have we got? Bayer Leverkusen game is on Prime, said Finty Tin. Yes, it is, but not for me. In Ireland, it'll be on Premier Sport. So, you know the way the Dutch media have often been very critical of Virgil van Dijk, and some of the pundits really have gone in on Van Dijk over the years. Well, at least Rafael van der Vaart and some of these pundits now are seeing what it's like when Virgil isn't playing for the Dutch national team. So this piece here, a quote from van der Vaart, has a little bit of a sly dig as well at Mickey van der Ven, said, "I don't easily get ashamed of the Dutch team, but today I did. We attribute so many qualities to them, but it's completely wrong. You can analyse it, but everything just goes wrong. Then we have doubts about the absence of Virgil van Dijk. Of course you'll miss him. All well and good with Mickey van der Ven, but this is no Virgil van Dijk." Yeah, and sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes it takes a player not to be there for you to realise what exactly someone brings or what you're missing. So I hope that our club are taking note of this as well, because they are some big, big shoes that we may potentially have to fill. So again, we're going to say, Mr. Edwards, Mr. Hughes, all of FSG, stop dragging your heels on this. Get the deals done. The fans want something to bite, something to be celebrating, something to get behind. Get these guys signed up, please, because they need new deals. Right, another little bit of news from the club today that you may or may not have heard, but remember Neuro 11, who were a company that Jurgen Klopp brought in to work with the players and try to gain an edge from basically monitoring their emotions and monitoring their heartbeats and all these other things when they're in certain situations. So taking a penalty, taking a free kick, defending a set piece. Well, under Arne Slot, he's opted to go without the services of Neuro 11, and there's no plans to bring them back, according to this report today. So that was obviously something that Jurgen brought in during his time at the club, but Arne Slot obviously looked at the situation and feels like it's not something that he needs at this moment. So Neuro 11 will no longer be working alongside Liverpool Football Club. Craig's not a mod or a rocker, he's a skinhead. Do you know, I probably would have been a mod in those days, mate. I probably would have been. I've also got a bit of news for you guys on Jayden Danns, and it's positive news. James Pearce, writing for The Athletic earlier on, wrote, "There's positive news on young striker Jayden Danns, who's been sidelined since pre-season with a stress fracture in his back. The 18-year-old academy graduate has been given the green light to step up his recovery with the club's under-21 squad. His training load is being gradually increased before he returns to action with Barry Luta's side." So again, that's positive, going in the right direction. We had some good news this week, seeing images of Harvey Elliott starting to step up his recovery as well from the fractured foot. And now we know Jayden Danns is stepping up his recovery. So it'll be interesting to see what the club do when he does get up to full speed. Will Arne Slot start to introduce him back into the matchday squads? Can we expect a loan for Jayden Danns perhaps in the January transfer window? These are questions that, of course, we're going to ask friend of the channel, Mr. David Lynch, on Thursday and probably every week moving forward, to be honest with you. Just bought my tickets. Exciting times to get to see us at Jack Nickel. Mate, I really do appreciate that. I really do. You're going to have a good night. I promise you that. We're bringing over a class musician with us who's going to get the place bouncing. Then, of course, Mr. Carl Porter, our favourite comedian, is going to come and do a stand-up set of 15 or 20 minutes as well. And then myself, I'll come onto the stage and, I don't know, try and make up for the lack of talent compared to the talent you've just seen before. But appreciate it. And as always, I'll be sticking around afterwards for a chat and some photos and stuff as well. David said, "Do you think the players get along well with Slot?" Do you know, that's one thing, David, I have to say I'm still struggling to get a read on yet, because Jurgen was a very touchy-feely, arm around the shoulder leader in that way. He was very hands-on and was very good at managing the players in that sense. I don't know yet whether Arne is a little bit more of a step back, a little bit, I'm not saying a colder presence, but maybe a little bit more analytical and a little bit less touchy-feely, if you get me. But I would say yes, look, the results have been really good. The players must be happy about the start of the season. And Arne Slot so far, I think, he's impressed me massively since he's come in. And I was saying all the way through the summer, you know, I don't want him to be a scapegoat. That's why I was so angry at the club, saying, spend money, please, buy a midfielder, buy a centre-back, because I want him. If he fails, he fails. But if he fails because he didn't get signings, I think that's a different conversation. Can't wait to meet the best content creature on YouTube. I think you meant creator, but I'll take creature as well, Michael. That's all good. Gives us the latest news from our amazing club. Mate, it's a pleasure to be here with you guys every night. Honestly, I still can't believe this is my job and I get to do it for a living. Right, a little bit on Thomas Tuchel. I'm sure you're aware of this, but just in case you haven't been on your phone today, you haven't seen it elsewhere, Thomas Tuchel has agreed an 18-month contract to become the next manager of the English men's national team, which I got to be honest is a good get. You know, there was lots of chatter about maybe Pep Guardiola and stuff, which I didn't think was ever really realistic, because I don't think Pep's ready yet to take that step back from day-to-day running of a club. And maybe Pep takes some time out if he doesn't agree an extension with City and, you know, takes a break before he does something else. But Tuchel's a good get, and it'll be interesting to see how the English national team gets on under Thomas Tuchel's tenure. And I've got to say, I'm a little bit surprised that he agreed to take the job. I'd wondered, was he maybe being lined up for the Manchester United job when they sacked Ten Hag, because that will come. Right, what's this from Mark? What did he send me on? Don't know what that one... Well, I know what it's about, but I don't know where I'm going with it. Right, a little bit more news, because as I said, I do have a lot to get through today. So, Egyptian journalist lauds Omar Marmoush. That's a headline that caught my eye today. And this piece here said, speaking to Bild, Tarek Metwali said of Omar Marmoush, everybody here is predicting a very great future for him. In my opinion, Marmoush is in a better position than Salah was at his age. If he continues like this, he'll be better at some point. Salah was initially characterised by his speed and then developed further. Marmoush, on the other hand, is also very fast, but has already other skills. Some people in Egypt would like to see him in the Premier League, especially at one of the top clubs. I'm not exaggerating when I say that Frankfurt's last game against Bayern was watched by Egyptian fans in a similar way to Salah's games at Liverpool, for example, against Manchester United, Manchester City or Real Madrid. Now, it does look like this guy's going places, Omar Marmoush. It really does. He's had a fantastic start to the season again with Frankfurt, and he's putting up real numbers. And Liverpool have been linked with this guy for a while now. But I think where I struggle to really join these dots is who leaves for Omar Marmoush to come in. If Darwin doesn't work out, maybe I can see a way in the future. But what do you think? Let me just ask you, what do you guys think? Do you think these Omar Marmoush stories will ever lead to anything, or do you think that we'll see Mohamed Salah extended and Darwin will start to score and we don't need to look for a forward? My reading isn't the best. Mate, Michael, you should see the state of some of the stuff I type out, mate. The amount of messages I sent to Connor and my wife on WhatsApp that I have to go back in and edit, bro. All good. I'm happy you're here with us. I appreciate your interaction in the chat as well. You never have to apologise for me for... The only people who have to apologise for me for poor grammar are trolls, mate, because I look for any excuse to have a pop at them, you know. Nomad said, it sounds like they're preparing to move Darwin on. Yeah, it's a tough one this though, isn't it? Because you're going to have to take a big loss there on Darwin. I don't see... If it didn't work out this season with us and the club decide to cash in on him, I don't see how we do well out of that situation. We're going to take a big hit. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough one. I mean, gut instinct suggests he'll end up in Spain if he does move on, Darwin. But I've got to be honest and say, I want him to succeed. I want Darwin to turn it around at Liverpool. I want him to be a success. But we need to see more signs of it from Darwin, and we need to see some consistency there as well. So look, long season ahead, lots of football still to be played, but you know, I think it's prudent of the club to start looking around as well, just in case. You want to make sure you've got every avenue covered. Right, let's check in on the poll. This one's close. We asked, do you believe the new deal for Trent claims that was put out from Graham Bailey and who was that crowd again? TBR Football. So if you want to vote on it, let us know. So far, 54% of people say yes, they do believe the claims, and 46% say no. I would say no, personally, but I want them to be right. I'm not saying that their information is wrong. I just personally need a little bit more of a confirmation. I need one or two more people to start coming out with it. But as I said many times, I'll happily read this type of stuff over Trent's going to Madrid. You know, I don't want to see them stories. I want to see these type of stories about Trent's future at Liverpool. But again, I also don't want us to be all let down and feel disappointed if it doesn't come to fruition. Could you go over the Trent news? Of course, happy to. It is a big story, so yes, mate, I'm more than happy to. And I did have some issues with my Wi-Fi at the start of the stream, so let me read it out to you again. So I'll go through it one more time. So today, I was sent this story that came from TBR Football, who follow us on X, by the way. So well on TBR Football. Well, and if you ever want me for a video, right, you know where I am. So they say TBR Football have claimed the 26-year-old defender is going to stay at Anfield after starting talks for a new deal. They go on through the piece to say Liverpool have offered Trent a huge contract at the club, and his new wages would make him the highest paid English player in the Premier League and would put him on a par with Mohamed Salah at the club. So you're looking at 350 G's a week there as the claim that Trent is about to sign that deal. I hope it's true. We've seen a similar story around Virgil. Somebody put out that Liverpool and Virgil are about to agree a £300,000 a week extension. I didn't get the vibes from David that he believed that number to be correct. So, again, we'll wait and see what happens. But that is what the story is tonight. Graham Bailey, I believe, wrote that piece as well for TBR Football. So, you know, I don't know Graham Bailey personally, so I'm not here to judge the man, but I'll let you make up your mind for yourself. Mark Bell said, I would love Darwin to find some goal scoring form like Suarez, but I just don't see it happening at Liverpool. And the really big kick in the nuts there, mate, would be if he went somewhere else and did it, wouldn't it? You know, it's look, I can't speak for Darwin. I don't know Darwin, but I do get a feeling that maybe he hasn't settled right at Liverpool for whatever reason. And I could be off the mark here completely, but this is just how I look at the situation. And, you know, if you go to this stuff with his social media and he, you know, turned that off and deleted a load of stuff, I don't know, I just get the feeling that, like me and like many others, he's a very emotional dude and sometimes can throw the baby out with the bathwater. And look, I've done that many times myself, but I hope he can settle down because we want him to succeed. You hear the cop and the Liverpool fans singing his name all the time. We want Darwin to be a success. Right, some more news as well. For those of you who may not have seen that earlier on, Trey Nyoni has signed his first professional contract with Liverpool Football Club. That news coming directly from the club. So all I can say there is congratulations to Trey. Congratulations to the club for tying the young man down and getting him a new deal. First professional contract. And also we had the news last week about Jarell Quansah signing his contract extension. And these are all great bits of news. But we still need the news on the big three. And that's what's making Liverpool fans nervy right now. There's a story that came out that I don't know where I am with it. And it's coming from French magazine Le Foot. Credit LFC Transfer Room for posting this. It said, Rodrygo, 23, is not happy with his playing time at Real Madrid, with indications that a change of scenery could benefit his career. He was already mentioned at Liverpool as a potential Mohamed Salah successor with an £83.5 million price tag. You know, take that with a pinch of salt, believe it or don't believe it, whatever you think. Again, it's my job here to just bring you the stories and we discuss them. And I'd have to say, at that number, if that number was true, and it's a big if, even regardless of Salah's future, at that number I'd take Rodrygo tomorrow. If you're not aware, Liverpool tried to sign him when he was, I think it was Santos that he was at. And we could have got him for about £4 million at the time. But he decided to stay there a little bit longer and eventually joined Real Madrid. But, I mean, I wouldn't say no. That's all I'm saying. I wouldn't say no. Michelle Ellis said, FSG are more bothered about buying a second club. And yet they haven't even done that. Do you know what I mean? Michelle, it's mad. It's like they procrastinate on things way too long. And the fact, look, I find it hard to put any blame on Richard Hughes or Michael Edwards with the contract situations because they both came into it, particularly Richard Hughes, who of course came in a bit later. It is his job to sort them, don't get me wrong, and he has to make sure he gets these deals done. But I don't really put any blame on Richard Hughes for coming into this situation. It was one that was of the club's making and we should have sorted out a long time ago. I've yet to meet anyone, whether it's David Lynch, Aldo, anyone who thinks that Liverpool haven't taken their eye off the ball with the Trent situation. There's no denying it. And as David said, there's no way of glossing over this if Trent leaves. There's no way of explaining this away if you can't get him to sign an extension. Quite simply, failure isn't an option here. You have to get Trent tied down to a new deal because... And again, I'm sorry that I can't phrase this better. I don't mean to be scaremongering, but I am genuinely concerned about the reaction if Trent moves on. Because it's an understandable and it's a fair reaction to be almightily pissed off if this deal doesn't get done. You've got every right as a fan to feel disappointed in the club, in the owners, and to ask the questions about how we ended up here. Even the fact that we are here now having this conversation, to me, is unacceptable. But, you know, you and I and everybody else watching this, we can't make a change here. We can't give Trent a new deal. I just don't understand how we got here. Aaron said 350k a week is Casemiro money. It is, but, you know, Casemiro's fallen off a cliff, really, hasn't he, form-wise, over the last year or so at United. Cohen, my wife has this colleague that she calls her work husband. They get along well. They have 3 kids. Yeah, I think everybody has those type of relationships in work, with people. I mean, I had some really good friends, still have them, that I had in work, female, male, and I haven't slept with any of them, either side of the coin there. So yeah, I think everyone is a work husband or a work wife. Tilsheen said, I love Kvaradona, just the name alone. Him beside Soboslai would be so cool. Well, there was lots of talk in the summer from his camp that he wanted out of Napoli. But, when they got the new manager in, he was given a guarantee that they wouldn't sell him. And to be fair, they haven't sold him. But I do believe Kvaratskhelia will be looking for a way out of Napoli in the future. Because let's be honest, that club has probably had its best moment. And now it looks like they're going to lose Osimhen. I know he's on loan at Galatasaray, but he's going to get sold probably in January. And I just don't see them living up to his ability. So I think he probably will move on in the future. Don't know where to, though. Right, what else have we got on this? I think I have some more stuff in my notes. I'm just making sure. Jayden Dans, we've done that. Neuro 11, Van der Vaart, Jones. So if you haven't seen, by the way, I'm going to read this out from Fabrizio Romano, so I'm not putting words in anybody's mouth. Ineos have decided to cut Sir Alex Ferguson's multi-million-pound ambassadorial contract with Manchester United, according to Adam Crafton of The Athletic. Alex Ferguson will remain a non-executive director at the club, still obviously welcome to attend United games. And that's very nice, isn't it? Ah, Jesus. You're some man, Jim. Take away the money from the man who built the club up, but tell him you're still alright to come to games. You know what I mean? You can come in to games in the stand named after you, Sir Alex, but we're not paying you because, well, maybe he's got a touch of the FSGs about him, Jim Radcliffe. United have been slashing costs left, right and centre. P45s all over the shop. Perks cut from everybody. I think it's embarrassing, quite frankly, that Manchester United are resorting to this. A legend. Sir Alex Ferguson built that damn club to what it was. And now Radcliffe's come in and gone, yeah, I know we had an agreement and I know we had a contract and all, but, Sir Alex, I'm cheap. S Crypto said, don't care what Man U are doing, they're not a threat anymore. I get you, but don't tell me it isn't fun to laugh at them, mate. It is, let's be honest here, bro. It's always fun to have a little dig, a little cheap shot at Manchester United. I'm never going to get sick of it. Whether it's Ten Hag versus the lettuce or Jim's bank account versus Alex Ferguson, I'm here for it. That's all I'm saying. United are skint, said David. Which is extraordinary in itself, isn't it? I still don't understand, by the way, how they got that 40 million pass for the PSR calculations that no other club are seemingly able to get. That was a weird one. I've even seen Mark Ogden, on Sky Sports back pages speaking about this. It's weird. United are Sky's favourite, in my opinion. I don't care what anybody says. To me, there's a relationship between Sky and Manchester United where United's just everywhere on Sky. 6-7 stories a day. Loads of great publicity. I remember when Ten Hag came in, the pictures going around on Sky where it's like a pigeon-chested Ten Hag on the pitch at Old Trafford, red background behind him. Now look at him. 14th in the Premier League. The worst start in their history since the Premier League began in 1992. And they're still keeping him in a job. Keep going, Jim. Craig, I missed the lettuce. You should have seen the state of it when I came home from holidays. Because I told my mother-in-law and father-in-law to leave the lettuce there. I know it's rotten, but leave it there. You should have seen the state of it when I came home. My God, it was awful. Daniel said, favourite food, Craig? I've got a brisket going overnight on the barbecue. Oh, dude, what time do you want me round? I love a brisket, mate. I love a bit of beef brisket. My favourite food, if I'm being really honest, if you said to me, Craig, I'm going to make you a plate of heaven. I want chicken tenders. I want fries. I want ribs. I want wings. I want finger food. Cocktail sausages, sausage rolls. That makes me happy. That makes me joyful and fat, obviously, as well. But yeah, I want finger food. I want, You know, pick a plenty, as we call them in pubs and stuff over here. That's my favourite type of stuff, you know, a little bit of everything. Because I get bored of stuff really quickly. You know, if I get a 12-inch pizza, halfway through it, I'm bored of the pizza. So I want something else. So I like a little bit of everything. Cohen said, I care a lot about Manchester United. I want them to do well. I mean, it would make me so happy if they win the league. Win League One in a couple of seasons. It's weird because they're a club that generates a lot of money. And they're also a club that has quite high repayments, obviously, or had. I don't know what the current state of play is there since Ratcliffe has come in, but to hear United having financial problems is weird. You know, I think them and Real Madrid generate the most cash of clubs, but it's their own mismanagement and their own pissing away of transfer funds. I mean, look at some of the wages that they've handed out over the years to David De Gea, Casemiro, Marcus Rashford and his new contract. I mean, they haven't really learned their lessons. And then obviously Ten Hag has come in and United have spunked a load of money on Ajax players, and you didn't get the right one, by the way. We got Ryan Gravenberch eventually, so you know, we got the one good Ajax player. Alex said, agreed, Craig. Sky, you're obsessed with Manchester United, no doubt. It is. And do you know what? United fans sometimes say to me the other way around. They think Sky is very Liverpool-centric. No, I'm not saying Sky have anything against Liverpool, but they're definitely very pro-United in my opinion. Scouse is the best dish known to man. Oh, you mean an Irish stew that he's robbed off us and tried to call Scouse? Come on now, bro. You know, I know we're the same people, us and the Scousers, but Scouse is an Irish stew, let's be honest. So what you're saying there is Irish stew is the best dish known to man. And you're not wrong. It's a magnificent dish. Craig, I hope you don't mind me saying, showing the Premier League table is saying Chelsea have only played 6 games when everybody else is 7. I didn't pay attention to it, but I will pass that on to Connor, mate, and we will get that updated. And look, Eddie, no problem with you pointing these things out to me, especially when they're Connor's fault and not mine. So I'm happy to throw Connor under the bus at every opportunity. You know, there is a blame Connor emoji in there for a reason, because I don't like to take responsibility for any of the faults. Wow, Northern Ireland 5-0 up. Conor Bradley played the whole game with the captain's armband as well. Well done. Fair play. Stew to me is like broccoli to you, Craig. Oh, Dave Sharple sent me something the other day that absolutely had me falling around the ground in stitches. And it was, the phrase was Bruce Lee and his brother. And it was basically broccoli. So it was Bruce Lee and broccoli. And it was so silly, it had me laughing for half an hour. And my wife was like, that's not funny. I was like, it's hilarious, love. You're not getting this. And she goes, I do get it. You're just an idiot. But I found it hilarious. Bruce Lee and his brother, broccoli. And it was a picture of broccoli with like a carved out Bruce Lee face and all. Dave, well done, mate. That really did cheer me up. David Smith said, I have a lawsuit versus an all-you-can-eat Chinese. What was that? It's hilarious, love. It's hilarious. You just don't like it because you're a broccoli sympathiser, that's all. Yeah, I know, my wife loves broccoli. Genuinely, like, I'm so embarrassed to say that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've worked hard to carve out this image of, you know, fatness and whatever it is I am. But yeah, she's a broccoli sympathiser. Not going to lie, the international breaks when there are no live streams is hard. The evening agenda has become part of my evening routine. Thank you, mate. Look, for me, it's the perfect time to get in a little trip during the international breaks. For a couple of reasons. One, the channel's always quieter during international breaks because obviously people have stuff going on and there's no real Liverpool news. So that's one reason. Two, it's one of the few times I get to take a break because I don't care how much money this channel makes or how successful maybe my life becomes in the future. Nothing, and I mean nothing, is ever going to make me pay peak holiday prices to bring my children away in July or August. It just is not happening for a whole load of reasons. One, my worst nightmare is being somewhere jammers with families in the summer months. I don't want to be here. And also, and this is the most important one, I don't want to leave Ireland when the weather's decent. I want to get out of here when the weather's shit. So that's why I go away in September, October and March. Because I want to get out of Ireland when the weather's piss and rain and I can go somewhere warm. But mainly because I'm cheap. You know, I don't like to pay these July or August prices. And look, if it means I'm getting a little bit of a headache for taking my son out of school for a week, it is what it is, you know. My parents did it with me growing up and I turned out okay. Foxy said, Craig, I'm with you there. It's mad. It's mad. Like, the prices are absolutely ridiculous during the summer months. The Facebook Network said, I keep telling you, Craig, Hawaii isn't just Waikiki. Well, I'm never going to America again, mate. I've had this discussion numerous times. After what happened to me the last time going to America, that's me done with visiting America. Look, I'm glad I've been there 6 or 7 times. Always enjoyed my visits. But the last one just, you know... Do you remember I said at the start of the stream, sometimes I feel like Darwin would throw the baby out with the bathwater at times? I'm like that. I'm very pig-headed. So I won't be going back to America again, unfortunately, because of the last episode. Craig's got the FSGs about him. Well, no, I still will go on a holiday, but I just refuse to go. See, it's not just the money. Like, the money and the fact it's going to be jammers. Like, peak season, you won't be able to move, ne'er a sunbed to be had. It's just not my cup of tea. I don't like crowds. Only got nothing against Lancashire, lovely place, says Jabbo. Let's hope it's true about Trent. Believe from Joyce and Pierce. I'm the same, Alex. That's what I'm waiting for. And I'm going to end that poll because I think, yeah, we've had over 1,000 votes. So it was a close one. 55% of you guys believe the news. 45%, you know, aren't quite there yet. And look, I would always suggest to take these things with a pinch of salt. I hope it's true. That's all I can say. I really do. Ronaldo, crybaby again. Well, what's he done now? What's Ronaldo doing now? Sorry, I don't know what's going on here. FSG out said, I'm Scottish and we drew against Portugal and Ronaldo was being a baby again. Scotland have got some good results. I remember they beat Spain recently as well. Another competition that had Rodri losing his mind, and now you got a draw there against Portugal. Fair play. That's a good result. Jobbo said, try Thailand, Craig. Just got back. It was absolute paradise. Definitely is somewhere I want to go, mate. It's on the old bucket list, Thailand, for a few reasons. But, you know, I'm just back from Turkey, and every time I go to Turkey, I'm just reminded about how much I love the place and the people. It's stunning. The people are absolutely A1. And, of course, you know, plenty of genuine fakes to be had over in Turkey as well. But it's just a great place. I love it over there. Mary said 700 quid, pounds sterling, just for a seat to Canada. Wow. That's a lot of wedge, isn't it? You know, because I know you can get flights to Canada for about 500 quid off, you know, other times of the year, because we've got relatives over there and Sabrina's parents go back and forth a fair bit. It's madness, isn't it? Ronaldo was crying because he wanted the usual penalty. Ah, I get you. Dave said he's been to Turkey 24 times. Nice, nice. Do you know what though, Dave? We were in Dalian for the first 4 days of the trip. And you know all the kids' football kits and stuff like that? They were 20 quid each in Dalian. And it wasn't one particular market stall or shop. You go into any shop and they were all saying 20 quid, 20 quid, 20 quid. Got to Saragurm, which is a place I've been to a few times. And I waited till I got to Saragurm and then got Lucas Liverpool white kit, Inter Miami kit, Turkish kit, Germany kit, 5 NBA kits. What else do we get them? Sauvage perfume, or the aftershave, and lots of other bits and pieces. But yeah, it was brilliant. Never been to Turkey. Mary, honestly, it did lag for a second, by the way. Apologies on that. Just refreshing. It lagged for 1 second. I did see that. It's amazing, Mary. You should go to Turkey. It's brilliant. This was my first time that I hired a car over in Turkey, and I found it very easy to drive around. Exactly as driving in any city in Europe, like top notch. Update on Trent, please. No problem, my friend. Azan, how are you, by the way? Welcome in. Now, look, a little favour before I get to Azan's question there and answer. If you haven't, please do drop a like on the stream for me. We have 1,273 people in the chat. We'd love to get that likes up to closer to 1,000. So if you have a second, please do hit the like button. And most importantly, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well. So, there was a story put out, Azan, earlier on from TBR Football. And the story said, TBR Football have claimed that 26-year-old defender Trent Alexander-Arnold is going to stay at the club after starting talks over a new contract. Went on to say, as per the report, Liverpool star put pen to paper on a new deal before Christmas. Sorry, someone said sound cutting. Again, I do apologise. Weather's terrible. Is some intermittent Wi-Fi issues. All I can do is carry on and refresh if you get the chance. So, anyway, to answer Azan's question, it said Liverpool have offered Trent a huge contract at the club. His new wages would make him the highest paid English player in the Premier League and would put him on a par with Mohamed Salah at £350,000 a week. So it's a big claim, and I'm not able to substantiate it yet. Again, I'm not passing judgment on Graham Bailey, I don't know the man, but I'm going to need, for me, a little bit more confirmation. I need a David Lynch, a Paul Joyce, David Ornstein, somebody that I'm used to getting news from to say it's true or not. S Crypto said, Turkey, football mad country. They love Liverpool fans, especially the Galatasaray faithful. They're definitely a football mad country. They love their football in Turkey. Do you know what else? Them boys in Turkey know how to cook meat and they know how to make rice. Let me say that. I mean, every time I go to Turkey, I eat like a king. I love the food over there. It's amazing. Fox said, I've never been to Turkey. What's it like spend-wise compared to Lanzarote? Way cheaper. Sometimes, Carl, it can be a bit more expensive for alcohol. If you're in an all-inclusive resort, happy, you're all good. But in the supermarket in Turkey, I was buying bottles of Corona. 6 bottles of Corona were $3.50 each a bottle. But if you're in an all-inclusive resort, you don't have to worry about that. But other things in Turkey, mate, eating out, really reasonable. All the fake jerseys and jackets and stuff, really reasonable. Loads of runners, mate. If you're like me and you love shopping, you'll love Turkey. It's amazing. And the people are absolutely top-notch as well. Cohen said, Craig, the reports of a £350,000 a week contract aren't official. I didn't say they were, mate. And I never once tried to say they were official. Every single part of this stream, I've said this is a report that I can't substantiate, but I've asked people their opinion on. So, I don't know if it's true or not. He's on about 200 grand a week now. And with the contract situation as it is, let's be honest, he's going to have to get a significant pay rise. Because he knows, and we know, that Real Madrid are just waiting. And if this isn't sorted out by January, we have a problem. Because then, legally, he can speak to Real Madrid and any club outside the Premier League. As could Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk. So, what would have probably felt like a £250,000 contract a week extension last year, now is probably getting closer to a £300,000 to £350,000 a week contract extension because we've left it so long. And, that's nobody's fault but Liverpool's, if we're being honest about it. Benjamin said, King Craig, I'll take that, bro. I'll take that. Why on earth haven't the club sent out statements to the big three, put pressure on them, or even drop them until it's sorted? Harsh but needed. So, one, I have to respectfully disagree with you on that, Benjamin. I find it difficult to be critical of the players when, to the best of our understanding, they haven't been offered anything to reject. So, I don't find it fair to criticise Trent or Virgil or Mo when they haven't been given an offer. We heard from Virgil van Dijk and Mohamed Salah to say that the club hadn't contacted them yet to start these. Now, this was a while back. So I find it difficult to be critical of them when they've said they'd like to stay at the club. It's up to the club to get that done. And if you do let them go this late and you do run the rule of maybe losing them for free, you got to expect that you're going to have to pay more at that point because their options are going to increase. Do you think Real Madrid would pay Trent 350 grand a week? No, not a chance. No, I don't. Real Madrid seem to be a club that want players to want to play for Real Madrid and have this tactic lately of trying to get players on the cheap. Camavinga, Alaba, Trent Alexander-Arnold are going after. You know, players that are running down their deals or in the last year of their deal. And they won't pay Trent £350,000 a week. I don't believe they would. But he's worth £350,000 a week to Liverpool, would be my thoughts on it. You know, because there's no explaining away losing Trent on a free contract to the fans. They're like, even the most sympathetic of FSG Liverpool fans out there, or FSG supporting Liverpool fans out there, there's no polish in that turd. There's none. You know, you cannot explain away losing Trent. There's nothing to... There's no PR that's going to gloss that over. Dean said he's young and in his prime. Why not pay it? Again, I don't know, Dino, if you mean for us, mate, or Madrid. For us, pay it. You know, we don't have to replace him, so you don't have a transfer fee there to look at. And let's say we did replace Trent. Big transfer fee to replace him, most likely. Or even if it was a Frimpong, that's 40 million quid plus his wages. So yeah, pay Trent. And if you can tie him down for 5 or 6 years, you're going to have the best years of Trent's career at his hometown club. Yeah, get it done. Us to pay. Yeah, I agree, Dean. But the sad part is, mate, for a club that are so frugal, for want of a better term, I feel like we've screwed ourselves here. Like, let's say we got this done a year ago for 250 grand a week. That's 100 grand a week in the difference over 5 or 6 years that the club will have to pay out now for delaying it. And yes, they would have saved money in the short term, maybe over that 1 year that they haven't extended them since, but longer term, it just feels like a false economy. So that's why I've said all the way through this, I don't understand any rationale behind it. You don't save money. You're running the risk of pissing off fans. You're running the risk of destabilising Arne Slot on the team in his first year. There's no logical explanation for this from the club's perspective. There just isn't. Azan said, Trent, Gittins, the left back in Adeyemi, also Zubimendi, Virgil, Salah, Marmouche. You're not going to get all them, mate. You're not going to get all them. Now, they're all credible links, by the way. Liverpool have been linked to Jamie Gittins. I did a video on that. I don't know I think it was this morning's video I spoke about that one. Liverpool have sent scouts to watch him at Dortmund a couple of times. Marmouche, another credible link that we've been keeping track of. But this is what I would say is, I don't trust FSG to replace any of these three with similar caliber players. I don't. If Virgil, Mohamed Salah or Trent leaves, there's not one fibre of my being that believes FSG are going to step up and spend the cash necessary to replace them like for like or quality for quality. I just don't believe it. So this is a big moment because Bostonians are a little bit pissed off at life under John W. Henry and FSG because they had initial success with the Red Sox and they've won a good bit of stuff and then they've tailed off and don't seem to want to be paying out the big contracts. At Liverpool, wherever you sit on it, there's nobody's going to tell me that the summer wasn't a mess. That not bringing in a midfielder and not getting a centre-back was anything other than unacceptable. Bringing in the goalkeeper that we did, brilliant. Bringing in Chiesa, brilliant. But Mamardashvili and Chiesa are not the positions that we really needed in this summer window. We needed to bring in a midfielder, and for the third year in a row, we haven't done it. Harry, thank you, mate, for your super chat. Said, there isn't another fullback like Trent. No, there isn't. Like, Conor Bradley will be a fantastic player. But for all Conor Bradley's fantastic attributes, and he has many, a great engine, a great eye for goal, intelligent runs, he hasn't got the ball striking ability of Trent. Not many have. And Trent's ability to provide those big moments is extraordinary. and will only get better, I believe, as he hits 26, 27, 28. And I want those to be at Liverpool. Now look, you know me, I've been critical of Trent in the past. I think fairly critical of him, by the way. But right now, under Arne Slot, our defence has been conceding minimal goals. Best defensive record in the Premier League, despite Roy Keane's protestations that Trent can't defend, which is just lazy. You know, we need to keep this group together. And I'm getting panicky about it, to be honest with you, because we've got one more international break, which is going to give another opportunity for Bellingham or anybody else to get in Trent's ear when he's away with England. For Mohamed Salah and Virgil to feel a little bit like, what the hell are the club doing here? Do they not want me to stay around? And I can understand it. You know, these are decisions that we think are no-brainers. Fans aren't happy with the leadership of John W. Henry and FSG. Again, I can only apologise on the lagging stuff. I'm kind of at the... Again, somebody said is fuming. Oh, Mark, you've no idea, mate. I am. You know, it's not your fault, so I totally sympathise at your end. You know, it would frustrate me as well, watching the stream if it's lagging. So, embarrassing, and certainly I feel a little bit annoyed about it. But I can only apologise, you know, for the lagging. It's frustrating, to say the least. So I do apologise. How's the lettuce? Oh, she's dead, mate. Sorry, I'm just waiting to see if we are back or not. I'm just waiting for you guys. Then I'll go through that Trent news again as promised. Just give me a few thumbs up when you guys are comfortable and we're back, and then we'll get straight back into that Trent news for you. I've refreshed and it looks like it's running sooner.